The Obama budget director, Jack Lew, had a rough day on Capitol Hill. He had to defend President Obama's $3.73 trillion 2012 budget before both Democratic and Republican critics. First, he got this from House Budget Committee Chairman Congressman Paul Ryan.
What's so frustrating about this is, the drivers of our debt are the entitlement programs, and yet you're doing nothing to address that. When people elect a president, they expect a president to lead. You're assuming the economy is going to take off in a year in which you're raising taxes everywhere, all over the economy. And if your math doesn't add up, then we're all in a world of hurt.
Then Jack Lew shuttled over to testify before the Senate Budget Committee, where he got this from ranking Republican Senator Jeff Sessions.
Senator, I don't disagree that we have to take on the debt and we have to pay down the debt and reduce the interest payments. And the only thing I take issue with...
Does this budget do it?
I think we get to the point where we...
Does it do it?
I respect your position, Senator.
Well, I can't respect a position that suggests this budget reduces the debt. I believe, Mr. Lew, is flatly in error, and it cannot continue. And I hope the president and he never repeats that this budget balances at any point in the 10 years.
Newly elected Tea Party members of Congress have threatened to vote against raising the $14.3 trillion debt limit unless they see significant budget cuts. Senator Mike Lee of Utah has taken it one step further, saying he will actually filibuster that vote unless Congress passes a balanced budget amendment like the one he's introduced in the Senate. Joining me now, Senator Mike Lee. Senator, thank you very much for joining me tonight.
Thank you, Lawrence.
Senator, on election night, I asked if a Republican, a newly elected Tea Party Republican, would filibuster the raising of the debt ceiling, because you senators are uniquely, individually empowered to prevent a raising of the debt ceiling. No one in the House of Representatives has that power. Only you senators do. Are you really willing to do that and, for the first time in our nation's history, not raise the debt ceiling when necessary and allow the country to go functionally bankrupt?
Well, those are two different questions. Yes, I'm willing to use the filibuster rule in the Senate in order to stand up for what the American people want, which is for us to stop postponing this inevitable problem that we have, that we've been passing along to future generations. We have to stop doing that.
Now, you're willing to have the debt ceiling not be raised, have it at the nation's credit actually break into its debt limit, and therefore have us default on our bonds worldwide?
No. Look, you're presenting a false question that assumes a false premise that suggests that the only alternative to raising the debt ceiling is somehow to default, and that isn't true. I'm a co-sponsor of Pat Toomey's legislation that would make clear that if the debt ceiling is not raised, that the first money in the door will always go toward maintaining our obligations for debt service. And so we won't default. This is a false choice that those on our left, those who want to continue the problem of perpetual deficit spending, want us to believe. But it simply isn't true.
Well, we don't have the time to get into just how much chaos worldwide would be provoked by your hypothetical, which I don't believe you're going to do. I just want to tell you right now to your face on television that I do not believe you will risk this country breaking the debt ceiling by filibustering that. I believe you will back down when the time comes and when the pressure is put on you on the Senate floor. But if you don't, I very much want you on this show when you do that filibuster. And tell me why John Boehner is wrong about the debt ceiling when he said it would be a financial disaster. That's what he said. If we don't raise the debt ceiling, that would be a financial disaster, not only for us, but for the worldwide economy. Tell me why John Boehner is so wrong. What is it that he doesn't understand about the worldwide economy?
Lawrence, he's going against the will of 70% of the American people. 70% of this country's citizens who say, we're tired of you raising the debt ceiling. Don't do it. Why? Well, because it's killing jobs. Once our debt to GDP ratio crosses that magical 90% threshold, which we've done, and we're now approaching 100%, it starts to slow economic growth to the tune of 1% per year. It can kill jobs to the tune of 1 million a year. And we have to stop this lest we go into the kind of economic tailspin that we saw in Greece just a couple of years ago. The American people don't want this done, and we've got to stand up for them.
What do you make of the House of Representatives' proposal going forward on the budget for the remainder of the year? They don't seem to be achieving their campaign promise of cutting $100 billion.
Yeah, they don't at this point. I applaud them for the efforts that they've made thus far, and I think we need to continue to achieve more cuts.
Will you vote for a budget that violates the $100 billion pledge?
I'll be very reluctant to do so. And look, we have a problem that I think needs to be addressed and can be addressed effectively only when we pass a balanced budget amendment. That's why I've introduced.
Senator
Yes.
Lee, when I hear a senator say I'd be very reluctant to do that, I take that as a yes, that you will vote for it when the time comes if you have to.
No, that is absolutely not a yes. What that's saying is that we have an infinite number of variables that will come between where I'm standing today and whenever the continuing resolution comes up for a vote. And I'm not going to tell you whether I'm going to vote yes or no on something that doesn't exist in its final form yet.
Senator Mike Lee, Tea Party Republican of Utah, thank you very much for joining us tonight, Senator.
Thank you.